Hello everyone, and today in National Education Cycle we're going to talk about supply and demand and international relations. So mainly supply and demand is the amount of the product that we have available equal the amount of what customer wants. So we need to have a balance between the supply and the demand that we have. But in ISEC, supply and demand is something similar, but at the same time, in the context, it's different. So in ISEC, supply and demand, it's the understanding of exchange participants in our entity and the opportunities that we deliver. So these two things is our supply and demand, the amount of opportunities with the amount of exchange participants that we have. And it can be determined by two things, which is historical analytics and market demand. So why is supply and demand very important in ISEC or in IGV specifically? About three things. First, focus, speed, and reliability. So in focus, when you are mastering supply and demand, it's give you the understanding on which entities that you're gonna focus on. So you can put all your focus on some entities that is gonna help you and is gonna satisfy your opportunities. For example, by focusing on some opportunities, you're gonna find the entities that they're gonna promote your exchange participant by their buyer persona. You're gonna have a clear network with them, and you're gonna have the applicant that you're gonna want to receive for your opportunities. For speed, supply and demand can help you in process time, conversion, speed with communication, and so many things. So it's gonna make the whole process in IGV very fast. And for reliability is when you actually work with someone in a way he gets familiar with the kind of work and with the experience that you are delivering for him. So having a partner is gonna help you a lot for the trust and for the work in the future. And right now we're going to talk about IR. Mainly IR is activities and strategies that your entity run to develop the partnership with another entity. So every action that you're going to do to make the partnership happen between two entities. And examples, meeting, when you do meeting, when you meet in international conference, this kind of stuff help a lot in the way how you can build IR. But right now, we're going to talk about how you can define the IR, let's say, as the first time. So for you to have very good IR plan, you can run this, for example, this example, when it goes supply and market bid. This can be defined by four things. For example, low supply and high market readiness. There is high supply and high market readiness, low supply and low market readiness, and high supply and low market readiness. So for this, we have 14, as we said. Let's take some examples. For example, low supply and high market readiness is when the customer is actually interested in a certain entity or a certain opportunity, but ISEC entity hasn't invested a lot on efforts for this collaboration. So here you understand what is the problem and how can you define it. With the high supply and high markets, here is the customer is actually interested in your entity, and and ISEC actually is working on the resources and preparation to work with this collaboration. So here you need to boost and to help your entity with all the materials that can be given to them, so you can help them actually promote your opportunity or promote your entity. With low supply and low markets, here is the customer is interested in the entity, but he hasn't invested any resources or invent any collaboration. So there is here you need to understand what is going on and how can you make this customer bring you more supply. With high supply and low market readiness, there is a lot of customers that they just want to come to your entity, but ISEC entity has the resource and preparation to work as a collaboration. So here you have a lot of supply, but there is very low in market readiness. So what you need to do with each one of them is, first, with low supply and high markets, you need to grow with this person. With high supply and high markets, you need to upscale this partnership. And with low supply and low market readiness, you need to understand the needs and how you can define this partnership. And at the end, with high supply and low markets, you need to invest in this collaboration to make it happen. Here there is an explanation for each phase from upscale, grow, invest, or understand. I'm not gonna take time to read everything, but this booklet is gonna be with you all the time, so we can go in details how you can define each partner and what kind of examples or what kind of activities that you need to do to actually upscale this partnership and make it happen. Now we're gonna start with the IR plan and how you can create your IR. For IR, there is 3 steps actually to make a successful IR plan, which is build, deliver, and enrich. But how you can do it for international relations process? In build, you need to analyze and define your IR partner. In deliver, you actually need to start the partnership development. You need to prepare the promotion materials, and you need to have a partnership tracking. And at the end, with enrich, you need to actually enhance this partnership. So, and to sum up everything, the best way to actually make it happen is with communication, constant and fast communication with your IR partners. I'm just gonna give some examples for each phase. For example, let's start with build, which is analyze and define IR partner. Let's say that you are from local level and you are mid-class entities. So what you need to do is, there is a lot of way how you need to create an IR partnership or to actually do the analytics. First, what you need to do is to go to EXPA and check all the realization that you had in the previous year or 2 years to have an understanding about what kind of partners that you work with for each phase or for each peak. Here you now have somehow a clear idea about the history of your entity with IR partners. Then there is also another thing that you can do is to go to the website of Core and you actually check the last year's data of exchange entities. For example, let's say that you're going to go to Egypt and you're going to see the LCs that there is in Egypt and what kind of exchange that they do, what is their scales, what are the entities that they are very big, small or medium. So you can target the entities that you see yourself relevant and you see yourself you can work with, that has the same mindset or the same growth mindset. So these people can actually have a very clear and easy communication with them. By having this kind of data, now you can actually go to deliver and enrich the partnership. We're gonna go briefly in all the details, and of course this book is gonna help you. So communication is the fundamental solution to actually make a partnership happen. But right now we're gonna talk about how you can track and measure partnership. So let's here, as I told you, with clear details on how you can make each phase happen. For build, you need to analyze your main contribution for realization from previous year, define the partnership, which LC that I'm gonna work with, the purpose, why I'm gonna work with this LC, and what is our partnership goal. For example, let's say that I'm gonna take an entity from maybe Tunisia or an LC, because a lot of entities they are LC based. LC based, university based LC. So for example, I can take this LC just because their graduates are from medicine and I have a health project. So by doing this partnership, I actually have a purpose why I'm doing this partnership, because I know and I understand the market that these people can come volunteer for my project specifically. There is a lot of diseases that we work on, so we need to start building the partnership based on the project that we are preparing and have all the materials needed for them. So this kind of three steps, which is define the entity and the purpose and the partnership. With this, we can have a clear understanding on what kind of people that we want to work with. Then we're gonna go to deliver, which is the partnership development. Here you can define the persona by persona of your partner or the exchange participant. The timeline is our timeline relevant to each other. How can we work together? More is the realization goal. We need to actually start putting goal for realization. How we can realize people in winter peak, in summer peak, faster. How we can work fast in process time, do approvals very fast. Better, how we can make actually a very successful experience for our exchange participant in a way that how we can do exchange standards, collaboration in terms of expectation setting. So this kind of stuff really matter. And at the end, sustainability is actually the pricing strategies or investment. If you want to do investment in a way that maybe you're gonna send a team leader or your best team leader to go GV to this entity for a leadership, invest in promotion materials, pricing strategies maybe in Black Friday, or you do collaboration between such an LC that you put even the pricing with them, special pricing for them. So for promotion materials, what you need to do is to tackle physical marketing and digital marketing in a way that you need to have content, videos for that. It can happen for that partner especially. So they actually really they are really important for this as a partnership. And for partnership tracking is with this partner you need to track, apply, conversion, process time, and the most important is the way how we are tracking our communication channel in WhatsApp, Messenger, Telegram. Each way we need to have a communication channel that we're gonna put our goal in, and we're gonna be reliable on are we there in our goal, how we are communicating, how we are processing our APs, fast process. All of this stuff can only happen in the communication channel. So we need to make sure that we have a clear communication channel with our partner and with the exact routine that can define the partnership going in a very smooth way. And at the end, which is enrich, is how we can make it happen by weekly review, partnership channel, and future investment. For example, let's say that each month I'm gonna do a meeting with the VP of that LC to actually have a review on the month. What did we achieve? What our bottlenecks? How we can work for the next month? Everything. Or also, let's say that after the peak happen, for example, right now we are working on winter peak in January or December, January, when we are preparing for the next generation. Here we need to focus a lot on the future investment. If we have a partnership that's happened and it was very successful, so we need to make sure that this partnership is going to continue for the next year, and it's going to continue for the next generation. Because a lot of problems that we have in ISEC, which is we do partnership, but it's a human connection between just a VP and another VP. But when people change, the partnership also change. So here, by delivering all the previous steps that we did in terms of communication, in terms of promotion materials, in terms of history, all of this kind of stuff can help to make this partnership go further, not for 1 year or for one peak, but for the next generation and the next. Here you can evaluate by investing in leadership, LC's boarding, calls, chairing a conference. This kind of stuff also happen to make a partnership very strong. So here mainly the three phases of how to define your partnership between build, deliver, and enrich. Just at the end, just a reminder, or make sure your collaboration part of your GD as VP, and you need to have actually a routine for it. It's not something extra, but IR is something in your GD, and it's must to make actually your LC grow, because growing with your partner, it's gonna help you a lot, and it's gonna like remove a lot of extra work. It is actually the extra, but for doing IR, it's something it's basic, and it's gonna help your entity reach their goal. Setting partnership expectations since the beginning. What is the priority level of that entity? This is very important to have in your first meeting with your partner. What kind of partnership that we want to deliver? What kind of message that we want to have in our group? How can we reach our goal? This kind of certain expectation need to happen at first, so we can have a clear idea about what is coming next with this partner. Educate your team about each other and the purpose of this collaboration. Here, the partnership, it's not only happening between the LCVP sides, but it needs to happen between team leader and member. So you need to actually educate your team about that partner and how you can work with, in a way that what is the buyer persona of the exchange participant that we're going to receive from that partner, how we can communicate with them, process time. So we need to actually educate your members and let them know how they can also work on IR, so we can tackle all the funnels from VP to VP side, from team leader to team leader side, and from member to member side. Here you can actually have a clear process. All the funnels are tackled in the IR part, and everyone's going to generate you exchange participant from VP side, from team leader to team leader side, and also from member to member side, because from the OGV side, the people who do actually approvals and the people who need the EPs are OGV side. So by doing this kind of tackling all the funnels, you're going to have exchange participants from all, and the partnership actually even gets stronger. The corporation should facilitate the expectation fulfillment with your customer. Your quality of delivery must be done in a way that there is an alignment. So, for example, right now with this year, we're going to have two VPs in most of the entities in Morocco. So what we need to have is actually a clear expectation system, have a smooth communication between our partner. So we define our IR goal, we define our approval speak and everything, but we don't stop here. We actually facilitate the exchange standards, the deliverable, customer experience, how we can work with all the steps, and how we can ensure that the exchange participant is having the best experience for his life. By doing and helping each other in this, we can at the end have a clear routine on how we can have the best quality. And at the end, the most important is communication is the key to success in IR. Communication, communication, communication in a way that's because just an advice that in OGV, everyone is talking to OGV side, everyone is sending messages. So by communicating to your IR, to your partner, you're going to be always in his mind when he's doing sales to exchange participant and everything. So by always being in his mind, at the end, you're going to have exchange participants, you're going to have people who's going to communicate with you, and always work with your IR in a way that he's your friend, not your partner, because the human connection work a lot in ISEC and in IR especially, because when you have someone who is your friend, here you're going to have trust, you're going to have belief, and you're going to have clear communication. So by the end, you're going to have more exchange participants and in a very smooth. So that's mainly it. This booklet has a lot of information that you need to read. Of course, at the end, you're going to have a quiz that's going to help you understand and prepare for the IR in the best way possible. I'm going to be in your here all the time, so whenever you have questions about exchange participants or how you can track it, so what kind of materials that you need, the way how you can work with your IR, I'm always going to be available, and see you in the next webinar. Thank you so much.